Welcome back here for another episode of The Corner. This time we have my trusted and faithful co-host Troy Trustrup on the other end of the line, and we're going to do some talking today a little about Better Call Saul. What's up, Troy? How are you?
Yeah, thank you. We are sitting here on a quite good summer day, almost summer day. The sun is shining, and how hilarious is that? But yeah, I don't know what are you thinking to ease us into this topic? Better Call Saul.
Well, I know that there's been like a lot of people out there wondering when the hell the next season is coming out. And we'll talk a little bit about that, yeah. But I gotta say, I predicted this earlier in one of the earlier Corner episode, which I did solo, by the way, where I said that it would be in 2022 that it would first see season 6. And I didn't do that based on any other information. Then I thought now we got Corona, so everything is fucked, and we'll probably not see Better Call Saul before 2022. But Corona is actually, or COVID is actually not responsible for the delays in the production of Better Call Saul.
No.
Because
Bob Odenkirk's heart attack is.
Yeah, it is. He had a heart attack. I was going to say that they haven't been so affected by the Corona crisis because a lot of Better Call Saul has been shot outdoors. And outdoors you're able to control it a little bit more with a lot more spread between the crew members and having the actors tested regularly and vaccinated and all that stuff. So yeah, man, just like what you said, man, Bob Odenkirk had a heart attack earlier this summer, I believe, and he has been taking it easy to ease into to working again. So they have shot all the scenes that didn't include him first before they will shoot his scenes. So spring or summer 2022 was when I think that we're going to see Better Call Saul.
Yeah, the fall season, I believe too. It's gonna be a fall season, for sure. But interestingly enough, we already have a little snippet of the sixth season already. When you go to the IMDb episode list and click on season 6, we see already a thumbnail for episode 1, which is somebody who is standing cuffed in handcuffs with a Saul Goodman card in the thumb. And that's the what do you call it? The thumbnail for the season. So that's interesting. We could probably start the episode out with who do we think that is, or even if it is somebody, it's gotta be somebody. It's one of the characters in the show who is suddenly in cuffs.
Well, holding Jimmy McGill or Saul Goodman's card.
Yeah. I can send you the link so that you can quickly look what I'm talking about.
I see it.
And so I don't know who he the skin is a little bit dark, almost Latino, so it could be Nacho. That would be my first guess.
Yeah.
But then again, or now you're actually saying something. Yeah, that actually makes way more sense. Because how would Nacho even be locked up? He's on the run now because Lalo is coming after him. But yeah, Tuco's getting out, and yes, of course, we had in season 5 this exchange between Lalo, or Jimmy was hired to do the job for Lalo. So and then Lalo told him at the end of this, not at the end of the Bagman episode, but at the end of him getting Domingo out as a snitch. Then Lalo told him, Jimmy said first, you're gonna have to find a different lawyer for future endeavors. Whereafter Lalo tells him, then Jimmy says, I simply don't have the time for this. And then Lalo says in his chuckly manner, you'll make time. And maybe that is now foreshadowing to him having to get Tuco out because he can't get out from Lalo's thumb anymore.
That could also be it.
I think that sounds very plausible, and I would love to see that because that's gonna be, the stakes will be bludgeoningly high.
Yeah, but I mean, like the picture could also just be random, in the aspect of like this is when Saul really becomes Saul Goodman, you know. Because he
already does that in season 5, though. He is already Saul Goodman in a lot.
Yeah, I know, but like what I'm
episode in season 6.
What I'm talking about, like he hasn't gone down the fucking path to be where he is at in like Breaking Bad, for instance, where he is just outright suggesting murder, laundering money. That's true. He hasn't morphed into that Saul Goodman yet. So I'm saying that they're two very different characters, or two different characters at this stage, you know, like the Better Call Saul and the Breaking Bad Saul Goodman, because the Better Call Saul Goodman wouldn't suggest murder or laundering money right now.
No, and that is very good reflected in the Bagman episode, where he is almost giving up, like that he is not fit for that life yet. He is literally beaten down in this episode, and doesn't even, after this episode, he doesn't want to go this way anymore. But as we will see in season 6, most likely this will keep happening. And actually, I think it's hinted in the final as well, that where Jimmy is sitting with Kim and he's like, he can't promise her that this will never happen again, because he already kind of knows that he's headed down this path.
Yeah, he knows that he is a flawed human being.
And we know it because we've seen Breaking Bad.
Yeah, right. But I'm just like thinking that, you know, like for him to becoming that, something fucking needs to happen that makes him completely lose trust in the system. Right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like we haven't like seen anything of that like yet. I mean, like we do know that like he thinks it's the shitty system where like public defenders are only paid almost minimum wage for like taking these low life criminals on in New Mexico. I don't know if you remember, but when he did like all those free low life criminals in the beginning of the show, right? And they were on trial because they had
the sex offenders.
Yeah, sex offenders, right?
Who trespassed at a morgue.
Yeah, and he didn't really have anything to argue with because these idiots had like made a film of what they had done, right? So, you know, like
and got that admitted into evidence.
Yeah. But you know, like if you remember that, then he thought he would be paid for like all three of them, right? But since he took all three of them as one, he was only paid the one fee of like $700 for weeks, if not months, a month of preparation.
Yeah.
So like this is like one of the few moments where he's like probably felt like cheated out of the system, which is why I can like somewhat see like why he's using this is an incentive to do the hustles that he does, right? Like the skateboard hustle, where he was like sending those two skateboarders to get hit by a car, and it's Tuco's grandma that runs them over, and then he's going to be the ambulance chasing lawyer running to this grandmother's house and asking for money in compensation. But that didn't bat out too well for him, right?
But that's just generally his way to compensate for these injustices, and they were. I mean, the skateboard hustle is nothing compared to what we've seen in the last season, where he downright. Like in one of the episodes, I think it's actually the first one, where he downright gives a discount offer on the on his services, 50% off.
Yeah, but that's not illegal.
And actually encourages criminals to commit crimes.
That's not illegal. Even though like it's immoral, it's immoral, but it's not illegal.
It's still more immoral than just doing a skateboard hustle on somebody.
Yeah. He has like definitely come a long way.
And actually, I'm not even sure that what they're doing there with the skateboard hustle thing is even illegal, because, I mean, technically they are not breaking the rule. They're just running their skateboards and then jumping out in front of a car. That's not illegal.
On purpose, yeah. On accident, no.
Yeah, but you could always argue that it is not on purpose, and thereby it would not be illegal either. But it is still immoral.
But we saw it being on purpose.
Yeah, we saw it, but the police doesn't see that. The law officials. You gotta think about it like what we see. That is all just moral judgments. I mean, this is where the fine line is between moral and law. Law is just the officers of the court and the police officers and the judicial system. And the show is not framed from the perspective of those. The show is framed from a narrative that is about morality and Saul Goodman's inner perspective on morality. That is a very important distinction to keep in mind.
That's true. Okay, but like, what about when he changed the numbers on the file to make
that is still we still see it from his point of view that. He's just like, yeah, it's just a few papers, just to change a few numbers. I mean, that's just a trick. It's not forgery. That's nothing. And like, also still at this point during the entire process, the judicial system of the show, which again we are still not seeing it from their view. If we did see it, we would just see what they have in that hearing in the chicanery episode, where we have the judges just having a bunch of statements about what happened and a bunch of conflicted statements. We have a very erratic, like a very eccentric Chuck that just seems to be pissed off at his brother. That's all they see. They don't see the forgery with their own eyes.
Right, that's true.
So they just see a bunch of subjective opinions that are going against each other.
So it's clear that like what he is being doing now is like very lightweight compared to the shit that he does in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's true.
But
and then again, in Breaking Bad, we don't have the focus on Saul. We have the focus on Walter, or the perspective on Walter, which is why you see Saul Goodman there as just this edgy character in the background, and you don't see his morality. You see Walter White's morality. And
that's true.
and then you have and there you have even less of that legal system.
That's true, man. But I still gotta say, like what I said, like in the last episode here, about how I also want to see all of this ending for him, because the last we know is that, you know, like in these flash forwards that is black and white, that he is in 2015 in Omaha, Nebraska, and he's starting to almost come close to wanting to turn himself in, I think.
But before we get over to that, I would still like to get back to the possibility of this guy in the thumbnail actually on IMDb, that is, actually being Tuco, because that is interesting in the sense, or because if it is Tuco, then the stakes are much higher, and there is a lot more reason to introduce this this morality, or like this thing that is going to make him Saul Goodman in Breaking Bad. Like there's so many possibilities. It could be something like he has to get them out, but he's knifing another guy, like he does in Better Call Saul as well. And then Lalo is like, yeah, but if you don't get him out, I will come after you.
All
and
right,
then
so
the stakes are raised, and he's forced to actually make a decision. That is, and then maybe in that attempt to make a decision, he is confronted with maybe that Howard plot where Howard is just pissing him off in some way, that shows that he's really getting tired of the system, or that Jimmy's getting tired of the system. I don't know if that made sense or something.
It does. I like the idea that he would be getting Tuco out as a protective insurance, you know, to help out.
He's forced to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Tuco might be a shithead, but he seems like he is easier to deal with than Lalo.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like they are both psychopaths.
But
well, I don't know.
Lalo is much as orders of magnitude more intelligent than Tuco.
He is. And he definitely don't like Tuco.
Well, as he says in one of the scenes with Hector, in Spanish, I don't know the Spanish words exactly, so forgive me for that. But he does say to Hector that he's a hothead, but he gets things done. When he gets out, we'll put someone on top of him and have him under control.
Yeah, right. I don't think that's as easy as he said it.
No, but that is probably what happens in Breaking Bad. I mean, if you recall, that Tuco in season 1 is actually running the drug ring and with Walter's methamphetamine too.
That's right.
But what we don't see all the way back then, because our focus is on Walter and not on Gus's empire or that whole backstory, is what we don't see is that we have all these characters, Bolsa and Lalo, who else do we have? The cousins who are like doing shit to keep him in line, to keep Tuco in line. But we don't see that because we have this perspective on Walter.
We don't see the whole story, yeah.
Yeah. But that's what's so good about a TV show. You can go, and a spin-off, you can go into things much deeper than what they do.
You can build the flesh on the skeleton.
Yeah, exactly. Because in Breaking Bad, the main antagonist is Tuco. and that's as far as the focus goes, the perspective goes there, and that is in many ways a much more simpler plot than a plot for a movie, but not a plot for a TV show.
We also do see Bullseye in
not in season 1.
In Breaking Bad. Not in season 1, no, but we do see him eventually.
We don't actually see Bullseye until Tuco is dead.
All right. Is that when? Yeah, because the Gus goes down there and kills everybody.
But this is actually in narrative storytelling. This is known as oh man, there's a term for that. I can't remember. But it's like the showing of information. Fuck man, I have it right on my tongue. Starts with E. Fuck man, can't remember. It'll come to me. Just talk, and I'll Google it. Exposition, right? Exposition. Yep. Exposition in a narrative is the insertion of background information within a story or narrative. That's just from Wikipedia, the definition. But basically, what it is that you have story, you have elements of the plot that you have already sketched out as a writer. Sorry for going technical on your ass now, but like whatever, we can apply it to Better Call Saul. So we have all this plot information, and then we got to figure out how do we structure that, how do we arrange that, what makes sense to reveal when, in order to make for a good reveal. Yeah, actually, that's the key word here. The revelation. When do we reveal these bits of information that we have in the plot? And there, it's because it's obviously not always. Actually, it's never good to reveal the information chronologically, so that you have, because then what you have is a documentary. So you just have a series of scenes. Just a series of events that boringly happen on a string of fucking on a timeline, and that's not good. So that's why we Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul is built up in this way, that we have the Walter White perspective to start with, which happens after all this entire drug ring with Gustavo Fring. And that's because he is a much more relatable character than Jimmy, actually, because Walter White is a family man, he's a father, he's a high school teacher, and high school is much more relatable to the common man, because most people have gone to high school, but not that many people have gone to college or gone to law school like Saul Goodman. So
no, that's right. The average level of education in the United States is high school.
Yeah, and that's exactly why Walter White is a much more engaging and relatable character than Jimmy, and that's why it makes sense to start making Breaking Bad and then make exposition again, and then implement the plot of Better Call Saul later, even though it's before. So that's just exposition executed at the best level of television at our fucking fingertips here. And isn't that exciting?
Here's a question for you. Is the character Saul Goodman / Jimmy McGill more likable from the beginning or more likable now?
Well, that's easy. He's more likable from the beginning.
So he's less likable in the end.
Yeah, exactly. Because as Bob Odenkirk has also said in an interview once, Saul Goodman is just a fucking sketchy facade. I mean, he's just like a fucking douchebag if you think about it. I mean, make sleazy jokes to people. Like, imagine like the scene with or like, remember that scene where Skylar first is introduced to him? Can you recall that?
Now, can you update me or refresh my memory?
Where she comes in and where he says to her, let me just recall it. Yeah, where he says, yeah, Walter's told me so much about you. Your name reminds me of a big, beautiful sky. And interesting. Yeah, and then he goes on, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, no, wait, what is he saying? Yeah, clearly his taste in women is as good as his taste in lawyers. Just the right amount of dirty or something like that. Like, fucking insulting comment to Skylar in that situation.
Wow.
And imagine like somebody saying that to your girlfriend right in front of you, as is the case in the scene. Like somebody comes in to your girlfriend and says, yeah, she's a good skank, just the right amount of dirty, like you, Pat.
Yeah, right. You're like, I wouldn't even know how to respond.
I'm a douchebag if there ever was one.
Yeah.
But of course it is funny to look at because like that's what we talked about yesterday, actually, about it being a fantasy that we enjoy as viewers, stuff that we don't want to be subjected to ourselves.
Of course.
Because the more violent it is, and the more I don't know, like or in comedy, the more flawed and weird characters get, the more it pleases our intellect. But it doesn't mean that we want to be subjected to that ourselves.
What about the character Walter White in Breaking Bad? Is he more likable in the beginning or more likable in the end?
Definitely in the beginning as well, because he like it's in the title, Breaking Bad. Like he breaks into something that we don't want to be, how you shouldn't be. You shouldn't behave like this in a society. You shouldn't go around murdering drug dealers and just killing off shit.
But he's doing it all in the name of the family. Isn't that all right?
No. Yeah, that's the excuse. If you need to rewatch the last episode of Breaking Bad, Felina, because this is where all this is made clear to the viewer. Because
I like, it was ironic, like, of course I know that, but in the end though of Breaking Bad, Felina is the last episode, right?
Yeah, and just to make it clear, because I'm just going to explicitly say this to anyone who doesn't know it, his saying that it's all for the family, what he keeps repeating over and over again, that is just his lie to his family to justify all the horrible things he does. And at the end, we get the truth, where he says, I did it. And then Skylar interrupts him and just says, if I have to hear one more time you did it for the family, I'm going to call the cops or some bullshit. And then he just interrupts her quickly and says, I did it for me. And that he has always been doing it for himself. But he just uses all these lies to lie for his family, to lie for us, the viewers, to lie for the viewers and for all the other characters, to justify his killings, because he becomes an evil man.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Some even argue that he has always been an evil man, but I don't know if I want to go that far.
Now I remember these theories. I mean, like, because like these theories is bottoming in that, like, that this character was always like that he had always fantasized about doing these things, but never did, right? So it could just have been there and laying dormant.
Yeah, exactly. Like but I guess to some extent, and this is also what the show is about. There's so many layers to this, but this could also be. I mean, all of us have some evil within us, something that we would like to do, but in the words of the good old Quentin Tarantino, most of us know how to keep that to the fantasy level, to our intellect. Just, we don't need to act on it, we just need to watch movies and consume literature in order to get rid of that catharsis that is blood and violence and all these evil things that we have within ourselves.
I mean, like, you might like have a boss or a person that you really dislike in your everyday life, and that you would want to like jam or punch a knife in their chest. But you would know the fucking consequences for doing so you're not going to do that. You're going
because most people, because you have your literature, and by saying literature I mean movies. I mean movies, music, books, everything that is based on text. So I'm just gonna keep using literature in that sense now. So you have your literature that does that for you, that works your intellect. Without you having to do it. And isn't that fucking beautiful?
Yeah, it is. It is. A little bit back to Breaking Bad though, because like I would like to talk about like, sure, like he's an asshole by the time we get to him in Felina, but he's trying to redeem some of himself by saving Jesse and dying in the act.
And of course, that is a small sense of redemption, but of course it is kind of, but it's also like, it's very lucky that he does it, because if you recall, Jesse is trapped with those neo-Nazis for most of season 5, because we have that time skip.
Right. Like, question. Did he even know that he was there?
Yeah, that actually I can't seem to recall that, but
because I don't fucking think that he did, because they took Jesse after he vanished to New Hampshire. So no, I don't think that he did. I think like he was originally going down there.
Yeah.
He was originally going down there for just like one last fuck you revenge deal.
Yeah. Walter did hire them to take Jesse out, and then he did tell them where Andrea lived in order to flesh Jesse out. But they didn't do that. Why was it they didn't do that? I can't remember.
Because he could cook.
Right. Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah. Right.
Ozymandias. That's what happened in Tuhajile and Ozymandias, where they are at the Indian reservatory, or reservate, or whatever, however the fuck you say it. And then they are there, and then Walter says that they have to shoot him, shoot Jesse, but they convince him that he can cook for them. They convince him that Jesse knows some stuff about the feds, and then they want to get that out of him before they kill him, and then Walter agrees to that. But then they just keep him. But okay. So actually, at the end of the day, Walter he thinks that they're gonna kill him after he's given them the information from the feds, but they don't.
Right.
They keep him.
So he
doesn't know.
No, he fucking thought that he was dead. So he was just going down there as like a last fuck you deal.
And actually, because, from Walter's perspective, Walter has already sentenced Jesse to death by giving him to the neo-Nazis and expecting them to kill him.
Yeah, that's right.
Thus not redeeming himself.
Yeah. So he was just going down there as a fuck you because like I forget the guy's name, the head of the Nazis there, the neo-Nazis.
Jack.
Jack, yeah, because Jack kind of like screwed Walter over and said like, like, you can have one of the barrels of money, I'll keep the rest, and you're just getting one as a token of respect.
Yeah, exactly.
So he got like $10 million ish from the 80 or so that he had.
But he does go back to them to steal his money back, as he explains to Saul in that cell. And yeah, I've watched these episodes 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, but he doesn't succeed though, because like in the cabin he ends up with like only having this one barrel.
Yeah, but then he is planning all the time while he is in New Hampshire to go back and steal the money to give to his family before he dies. He emphasizes that in the scene with Saul where they are at Ed Galbraith, that dude, or I think he's whatever, at Ed's place, where he's saying to Saul that Jack stole the money, and I will take it back, and only then am I through, and give it to my family, and only then am I through. And so that becomes his last fucking mission, to give his family that money through Elliot and Gretchen, which is a brilliant way to do it, by the way. So that's
I remember the way there that he did it. Like he gave them the money, and then had fucking who was it, Badger? Or Skinny Pete. Skinny Pete and Badger.
The assassins.
Yeah, Skinny Pete and Badger lighting them up with laser dots and saying that he went east of the Mississippi and hired the best hitman that money could buy.
Yeah.
So if they didn't...
But even that is not, even him giving the money to his family, I would still argue is still not a redeeming act. Because they don't want his money, and they are making it clear to him over and over again at the end that he should just stay away, and they don't want his money. So even that is a kind of an evil, in quotation marks, evil thing. He's evil to the very end.
Yeah, he is.
Even though it doesn't look like it, because and the reason why it doesn't look like he's evil is because we still have the narrative perspective, to get technical on your ass again. The narrative perspective is on Walter, and of course, this goes back to a very old principle: evil doesn't know that it is evil, and we are viewing the story through Walter. And therefore, we don't know that we are evil, that Walter is evil.
I'm just like thinking, like of all the characters we have seen in this universe, of the main characters, then Jesse Pinkman has to be the character with the most clear conscience.
Even though he actually seems to be the biggest scumbag at the beginning.
Yeah, he does.
Because
he does.
Because he is just a high school dropout, seems like a loser, takes meth.
But actually turns out to have a high fucking moral standard.
Yeah, and he might actually be like a little like Howard in Better Call Saul, the one who is actually the most unfortunately slipped into some bigger crap storm.
Yeah, right.
Because that's also what I feel like when I see... This is actually an interesting comparison, Jesse and Howard. Because when you look at Howard, you can't help but feel sorry. At least if you watch it for the second time. Because the first time you watch Better Call Saul, of course, you watch it still from Jimmy's perspective. And you still sympathize with Jimmy because... You don't know you're evil, so you just see, oh, that scumbag Howard, he's just thinking of himself. But when you think beyond that perspective, then you actually realize, fuck, man, Howard is fucking unlucky as fuck. Yeah, just like Jesse.
Yeah, he is, because like Howard, was Chuck McGill's partner, right?
Yeah.
So even when like Chuck was not able to fucking run the firm, he still kept him on as a partner out of the respect that like he was his friend, and like it kind of like said was left unsaid, but that they were brothers, right? Not blood brothers, but they were brothers. They were homies.
Yeah.
So it was like out of the same respect that Howard never hired Jimmy as a lawyer, right?
No.
And
Because Chuck insisted on it.
Because Chuck insisted on it, and now that Chuck is gone, it seems like either A, the company is like not going so good, right? Or B, Howard has had like strong moral issues with like what he did after Chuck died, because he's realizing that like he could just have like overstepped Chuck and said, like, fuck you, man, we're going to hire Jimmy as a lawyer because he's been like a real go-getter and gotten himself a fucking law degree, so we're gonna give him a chance.
It's definitely B. I can already eliminate A as an answer to you right there, and that is actually explicitly stated. What was A? No, like
A was that the company was going bankrupt.
But that is already stated in season 5 somewhere. I can't remember where it is. Where he says to Jimmy, I believe it's in this episode 7 actually. I don't know, whatever. Where he meets Jimmy at the courthouse and tells him, "We've had our best year yet."
Yeah, right. So it's definitely that he's like feeling a lot of like moral obligations towards Jimmy, because now he's like feeling responsible for that Jimmy has turned into this ambulance chasing immoral SOB lawyer, right?
Yeah.
That's I think that you're spot on, man, with this. So like
I should be spot on. I mean,
your
shows like 4 or 5 times,
which kind of like explains Howard's confusion with why Jimmy was like throwing bowling balls on his BMW and sending strippers or hookers to his business lunch.
Yeah,
it does
exactly because he.
Yeah, you go ahead, man.
He sees Howard as him being the evil son of a bitch, even though it's actually the other way around. But like, I gotta admit though that even though we see the show from his perspective, from Jimmy's perspective, I don't know how I thought the first time when I saw that bowling balls and hooker scene. Maybe I thought it was a little funny the first time, because we are from Jimmy's perspective. But at the very least, the rewatch, when I rewatched the show, I thought it was a bit much. Actually, already at this point, I didn't sympathize with him anymore. With Jimmy, I actually sympathized with Howard more.
Yeah, like I can see that now. I mean, like, poor Howard. Holy shit.
Because I mean, like, sure you can see that Jimmy thinks and Jimmy makes us think that Howard is a stuck-up son of a bitch and trying to get him back and trying to harass him, and when he really should just be leaving him alone. And that's why he does the bowling balls. And we feel like it's funny because we know all that. But I don't know. It's just a tad far at the end of the day. But I don't know.
I think so too.
Those are just details.
Like, it is childish because, like, I don't think that what I don't understand is, like, why does Jimmy think that he's offering him the job? I mean, like, because from Howard's perspective, he is just trying to do good by Jimmy and be like, you know what, come back, like, we'll fix this, right?
Yeah.
and then being repaid in this candor, and then or not candor, in this manner, and then the fucking speech about when Jimmy tells Hamlin that he's nothing, not even the dirt on the walls or whatever, and that he is God shooting lightning out of his fingertips.
Right? If that's not delusions of grandeur, I don't know what is.
Like, holy crap, man. So I'm definitely interested in seeing that in the next season, how it's going to go with Jimmy, with Howard, I'm sorry, because Howard is also in therapy, right? So it would be cool to see some scenes of that, even though I probably don't think that we will, but it would have been cool to have seen that, because I'm sure that he's talking about this in therapy, about how he's feeling guilt over Jimmy, right? And that the therapist might have like suggested, it might have been like his therapist or psychiatrist or whatever's suggestion that like if you feel bad you should offer him a job.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what I think could be cool if somehow with Kim's and Jimmy's plan about like making Howard like involved in some embezzlement or something, if that sort of involved Lalo or Tuco in some way, like if Howard gets dragged into that world, and making us feel even more terrible about him in that way.
Oh man,
Fuck,
I had like completely forgotten about that. Holy shit.
Like if those plot lines get mixed in, holy shit.
If they do that and fucking Howard is like ending up in prison for embezzlement he didn't even commit. Holy shit.
and then ending up in the same prison as Tuco, from which he oh my god, this is fucking exciting. This goes back to the stuff that we talked about in the beginning, about Jimmy losing faith in the judicial system. So okay, episode 1, episode 2, we have Kim and Jimmy make Howard involved in some embezzlement kerfuffle or bullshit, and then Howard ends up in prison together with Tuco. Then Jimmy in episode 3 or 4 or 5 gets the call from Lalo, you gotta get him out or I will do you wrong, la 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 la, and then threatens him basically, and then Jimmy has to get Tuco out. And then how does Jimmy feel about this, that he put an innocent lawyer in jail while a fucking murderous lunatic or a fucking maniac is now walking the streets? Fuck, man. That's the judicial system at work.
That's an epic evolution. But, you know, like, it already shows that he doesn't even feel bad of, like, putting an innocent person in jail, because he has just decided on fuck Howard. Well, he has decided on fuck Howard. He's decided that Howard is the villain and not him.
But he does care about it, because the last scene with Kim, he is actually it's actually Kim who's suggesting doing this, where Jimmy is actually maybe we could do it, but you wouldn't be okay with it, Kim. But and then he keeps saying like that we're not going to do it.
That's
but then she's raising her hands and making like shooting with her hands.
That's when they are in the hotel room. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Fuck,
and,
man.
And she is actually the one who's suggesting
this plan. Yeah.
So it all ties together. Man, fuck, man. If this makes...
I just like thought about like maybe we will like see Howard in cuffs and stuff in the at the courthouse, and then Jimmy or Saul slipping this card into his hand and say, call me if you need a lawyer, chump.
Oh yeah, right. This thumbnail of season 6 could be Howard.
It could be Howard right then.
Wow, shit, man. But yeah, man. Wow, if this prediction really holds up, then I will go back to this episode and comment. Told ya.
For sure. All right, yo, we're going to end
man.
it here. We're almost at like 50 minutes now.
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys for listening or downloading this or whatever. And yeah, sub if you want to help the channel out. Don't if you don't want to. Peace out, yo.